What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to I Do It Myself. I am Wayno. How are y'all feeling today? How y'all felt yesterday too? But if you like what it is that I do, hit that sub button, hit them likes, and run up that hype. Today we are talking about the evil empire Roc Nation. Yes, the evil empire Roc. Now I'm playing. I mean, Roc Nation over the past like couple of years has gotten this horrible rap. At one point in time, it seemed like a destination to get the best type of management or the best type of artist development you possibly could, with signing everybody from artists like J. Cole and Rihanna, Melody Fiona, Big Sean. I think MIA was managed by Roc Nation at one point in time. It was just a era where it seemed like if you wanted to win, you needed to go to Roc Nation. Now, ever since then, you have all of these different situations where people finally found out who Desiree Perez is. Her involvement in the streets at one point in time, being an informant. You have artists complain about things that have been done to them by Roc Nation. One is specifically Nicki Minaj has said all of these things about Roc Nation. And I think that Roc Nation has overall gotten a bad rap, right? Like, I keep being told that I'm a Roc Nation puppet or a Roc Nation. I've never worked at Roc Nation a day in my life, ever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about the culture of Roc Nation. But Roc Nation just launched their new artist platform, their distribution platform, and I'm gonna tell y'all how I feel about it. But before we talk about it, I want to get this out the way. Let's take a word from our sponsors, Jordan Craig Denim. Make sure y'all use my code too. Yo, this video is brought to you by Jordan Craig Denim. Jordan Craig Denim is a brand, a family-owned brand, working in streetwear business over 30 years by the way of Queens, New York. On top of that, they got everything from premium denim. They got good sweatsuits, good jackets, all types of garments and all types of accessories for any and everything you need. A lot of people have wanted. Everybody from Allen Iverson, the Moneybag Yo, Shiloh Sanders, Paul Pierce, Vin Diesel. They got something for everybody. You know it's full time. You gotta get right. Go get you one of these sweatsuits. This sweatsuit I got on in particular is extremely comfortable. I can move around in it. It's comfy. I feel like I could wear this to go outside. I could wear this to the gym. I could wear this to go get my groceries, pick up my kids from school, whatever it is I need to be doing. Good airport fit. Jordan Craig got it. So if you like this sweatsuit or any of the stuff that you've seen, make sure that you hit jordancraig.com and use my code. Like I said, you support me, you support this channel, support Jordan Craig. All right, now back to the subject in hand. I want to talk to all the up-and-coming artists and creators out there. You know what I'm saying? We share some sentiment. And I'm going to give you some insight on a person that's worked at a label and how they be trying to get over on y'all. I'm going to just keep it 1,000. A lot of these labels, if not all of them, is trying to get over on y'all whatever way they feel fit. If you don't have the personnel around you, it's game time. They going to get you. You feel me? It's nobody's business to teach you business. Now, with that being said, do people have access to all of the resources that they possibly could have in order to curate or build business? No, right? We know that for a fact. Is it fair? No. You know what I mean? Let's talk about that. But Roc Nation just launched their, artist distribution platform, and a lot of the stuff that it says, I'm going to tell y'all what I think about this after I read through a lot of the stuff, and we have a word from Russ. Russ is always right. All right, it says access to 200 plus platforms, right? So it says track your streams, know your audience, target your top platforms, access mentions, view sentiment of online conversations. Okay. It also says, I got to zoom in on this because this is a pretty far screenshot. It says Roc Nation Distribution has over 200 digital streaming platform partners, including Tidal, of course, Spotify, Apple, TikTok, Vivo, and others to ensure your music reaches a wide audience. The global reach helps artists maximize their exposure and earnings. Access real-time data and detailed reports on your music performance, including listenership and streaming trends. This information is crucial for making informed decisions about marketing and promotion strategies, all right? Understand who's listening to your access to in-depth audience insights and social conversation analytics from age to geolocation, type of streaming demographic. All right, let's skip over that. It's a lot of like corporate bullshit. Let's skip over that. What else they got? It says no upfront fees or subscription. They could give you royalty royalty payments and revenue splits. Okay. What else they got for y'all? It says video distribution, publishing administration, and rights management. Okay. What else they got for y'all? All right, let's just end it there. right? Let's end it there. And let's go to what Russ had to say about this said situation. So Russ, it's an 85-15 split, right? This is Russ says. An 85-15 split to press upload is madness. Major labels take 50% distro off the top two. So it seems like they just modeled their business off of that. If you're an artist, this makes no sense to sign up for, in my opinion. He also says major label distribution comes bundled with major label services, a team radio, marketing, global offices, sales teams, editorial leverage, etc. Rocnation distribution platform is a self-serve uploader with none of these services and yet charging the same 15% major labels do. The economics don't make sense when the entire market norm is 0 to 10% and only charging a percentage when they add services. All right, so look, let me tell y'all what I think. I think that this shit is absolutely in the way. You don't need it. Russ is absolutely right. And I'm actually upset that they are building something like this, because let me tell you what it really means, right? So we had a time where over the past, I say 10 years, everybody from A$AP Rocky, give or take, maybe A$AP Rocky, A Boogie, maybe 21 Savage, certain artists, right? I'm just guesstimating some. I could just be talking shit. Maybe those are the ones that have gotten $1 million deals that worked. There's been way more people that signed deals for $1 million that didn't show any ROI, return on investment. It's a ton of them that none of that bread came back. Labels have exhausted so much funding into trying to sign new acts and break new acts because they had a popping trend on TikTok, or they was popping on Twitter, or they had a viral dance, or it was hot on whatever platform, or people was doing this. And I've seen it all. I've seen it all in the past 10 years in this music shit, right? Now, the reason why I said that I'm kind of disappointed in these type of distribution situations is because it goes like this. The major labels don't want to put up that money anymore. So how can we get artists without having to do that? You know what we do? We sign them off our face card. We put up our name. We put up everything that we are that exists and say, hey, you could be down with us. You can have, Rocnation or whatever it else, United Masters, because I'm going to talk about them as well. You can have that in your metadata, because association, when it comes to branding, makes people feel like, oh, now I could do something with this shit. Like, I'm signing Rocnation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that association alone makes people feel like they could build something, right? Now, before I go a little bit further, let's just go through, what's these dudes? United Masters. So they have, a 3-tier system as well. And you could sign up for the debut, right? Debut Plus, which is keep 100% of your royalties, release music to 50 top music services, promote your music with marketing tools, career guidance, and blueprint, right? Then the second tier is select. The second tier is keep 100% of your royalties, release music to 50 top music services, promote your music with marketing tools, daily payouts with real-time royalties, personalized artist development with Blueprint AI, right? Access exclusive brand and sync deals, eligible to be invited to partner. That costs $60, right? And then you have partner. Partner is get dedicated artist relation support, reach fans with global marketing, unlock handpicked brand and sync deals, get pitched to playlist curators, fund your future with advances. That's by invitation. I'm gonna tell you what that is. It's the same level. It's the same thing as what record labels always been. So think about any era, no matter what era is fun to you. Think about any era. Think about the 90s, the early 2000s, the mid 2000s, the blog era, the 2010s, up until now, the 2020s. There's always been a very, very small select few of artists that are the ones that do the best. And it's not because they're specially handpicked. If you put a bunch of people together and you put them in a race, it's going to be certain people that can endure certain things. It's going to be certain people that can't. You got people that got their cardio up. You got people that got no cardio at all. Through this process of elimination, you'll see who's built for this shit and who's not built for it. This is the same construct. But the thing is like, Yeah, we're not gonna keep signing artists and giving them $200,000 when we're in a spot where anybody can upload anything and they could become the next big thing. So what do? We bring them in based on our association, right? We bring them based in on, yo, nah, you could be a part of this with us. Because look at United Masters, and let's not get it twisted. They have a legitimacy here because United Masters, for instance, right? They got Big X the Plug, which Big X the Plug, his numbers is insane. And his numbers is not doctored. People genuinely enjoy his music. You know what I mean? They genuinely enjoy his music. I don't think he has the best personality. I don't know him, but I haven't gotten to know him through his content because I don't think he has the biggest or best personality. He can rap though, so he leans on his music. That works well for him. Another person who started with United Masters was NLE Chopper. I'm saying NLE Chopper. Now the thing is like when United Masters has started, they starting on the distribution side. Think about this. You have Steve Stout. Steve Stout has been like a cultural curator. Some people consider him a culture vulture. I seen Hell say that Steve Stout was a culture vulture because he had a streaming service, which United Masters is not a streaming service, it's a distribution service. Now the thing about it is this. You're signing up to be monitored when you could do all of this monitoring yourself. All of the stuff that's offered, it sounds cool. And the thing about it is like, yeah, if you don't know these things and you're just creating, then you would like to have a team of people, but you literally could find, if you're an up-and-coming artist, you can find an up-and-coming manager. You can find an up-and-coming digital person. You can find an up-and-coming marketer. And you could put all of these people in the room and say, yo, listen, I'm going to do this shit every day. Y'all start learning these things. That's the reason why labels are creating these ecosystems. The reason why they creating these ecosystems is because too many artists have gone big and too many artists, and the label has nothing to do with it. Like I said, Big X the Plug. He's not signed to a traditional label deal. If Big X the Plug decided, yo, I want to do a label deal, yeah, they would have to pay him some ridiculous, crazy ass amount of money. This is the reason why I respected and loved Young Dolph so much, and Key Glock took that shit and kept running with it. Because Young Dolph, right? Young Dolph paid for everything himself. He paid for his music. You know what I mean? He paid people to distribute it for him. He put people around him that could work him and move him around depending on what market he was in. And he rinsed and repeated that shit. And he grew as he created. The more he got better, the more producers he got with, depending on what he was going through in his life, the better he got at his craft, the more it grew. And it continued to grow and grow and grow. And unfortunately, he lost his life. Same as a person as Nipsey Hussle, right? When you see when you see these types of deals and all of that, right? It sounds great. I worked at a label at one point in time. We were doing distribution deals, and the distribution fee was 20%. But the thing about the 20% is we did advance you $20,000. But that $20,000, you had to do what you could do with it for marketing purposes. Now, you're not going to get the money in your pocket, but you could say, hey, listen, I could do the work, right? I could do the work, and I could get myself popping, meaning that if we giving you $20,000, because everything has changed. It used to be, you couldn't even talk to a video director if all you had was $20,000. We got to the point where videographers or directors is doing videos for $500 a pop. Most of them is doing it for free. Most of these artists are shooting the videos themselves. So they learn, like, this shit is a gift and a curse because everybody could do it, but everybody can't do it, right? So when you got people who you say, all right, and I'll say, like I said, for the distribution deals we was giving out, you get, you could end it at any point in time, and it's $20,000 advance. But then, you have a person like me who has connections at Apple or Spotify or Amazon, any of the DSPs. And yeah, if I'm making a phone call to whomever's curating a playlist and I'm saying, yo, listen, I got something. Now, me personally, I never did that with none of my artists. I let a lot of my artists speak for themselves, and people respected the names I stood behind enough to say, all right, let me support that. Whether that was a Dave East, that was a Sada Baby, or anybody else that I worked with. Baby Money too, shouts out to Baby Money. I had the relationships to where people would say, yo, you know what, Wayno doing something, let's support that, let's work that, let's get, behind that, pause, you know what I'm saying? But let's help that situation. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I have a lot of artists that I signed that never turned into nothing. A lot of artists y'all never heard of, y'all never seen, put them in the studio, they didn't work. In today's game, what's best for artists is direct to consumer. A lot of artists, a lot of labels are even signing artists and giving them the free range for that, understand that, to let them do their own thing. But at the point where you start doing your own thing and you start making the money, you start to look back and say, well, what am I giving you money for? Don't get me wrong, like I understand like having a person to talk to and get some guidance from, but what am I giving you money for? And it's happening the same for creators. So y'all may not know, but there's a lot of companies that come after creators who are either YouTubers, other types of content creators, whatever they doing, because they looking at how lucrative it is. Imagine if somebody would have got with Casanat when he first started, when he was really, really young, and said, yo, listen, man, I'm starting this company. What do you want to do? And they like, yo, listen, man, if I could get me a better PC, if I could get me a better camera, I could probably do some decent work. Guess what? We got the cameras. We got the PC. We got whatever it is you need. And they seeing how they missing out on multi-million-dollar businesses. So as creators, be careful. If you decide to partner with anybody, just make sure that when you pulling the motherfucking rope, when you pulling that rope playing tug of war with your life, and you look at that shit, you see somebody else hand on the rope that you trust, you respect, and they doing their job too. Because people gonna get over on you. Now, like I said, back to Rocnation. The thing about, the reason why I think it's bad timing for Rocnation to even do something like this, Rocnation is Rocnation. There's people who love Rocnation, there's people who hate Rocnation. I believe it's way more people that love Rocnation than it is that people that hate Rocnation. But at the same time, I just think that the whole business model is broken right now. And a lot of things need to change. If I was an artist right now, the way how I learned how to use YouTube over the past year, like I'm really talking about like, and don't get me wrong, I still feel like I feel like this year I really learned how to walk, right? Like if I was crawling last year with YouTube, this year I really learned how to walk. Next year I'm gonna be motherfucking running, and the year after that I'm gonna be running through walls. I might be running through walls next year, right? But for the person who is, growing, and if you're an artist, the way I learned how to use YouTube, I would tell a label like, listen, I take an advance, but I'm gonna make all my money through YouTube. Like I only want y'all to touch my YouTube. And they probably say, why? Like, what, you wanna know why? Because you can see how much money you're making based on the content that you're doing. There's more money that you're making off of your views, depending on how many views you get and how you build it, than you making off these streams. I would do a deal directly through YouTube. I'm pretty sure YouTube has had the opportunity to do that, but that's also a very, very slippery slope to play. So you don't want to put people in a position where you're giving YouTube records out. You know what I mean? Like, oh, come sign the YouTube records. Because the whole, that old idea of, yo, come sign over here, we give you a big chain and we give you a car and give you the money, that shit is flawed. Like like people, I could say specifically when I was at QC, right? My time at QC was a good time. Had a lot of ups and downs. But when I was going to certain artists, the brand names and with some artists wasn't enough. And I talked to everybody. Like a lot of people that y'all seen get signed, they sat at my desk. I flew them in, had dinner with them, sat in the studio with them, all of that shit. But a lot of times the brand wasn't enough for them. And the reason being is because today you can command and build your own brand. You can market yourself via social media. You can market yourself via YouTube. You could market how you can train your audience for the DSPs. Like if everybody's saying, all right, I'm releasing on Friday, right? And you start deciding, well, listen, I'm gonna release a song Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm gonna commute that through my social media. I'm gonna communicate that through my social media. And then on top of that, you start putting out your merchandise. You can see the results more instantly than taking a big advance and hoping you get a hit record. Now, the thing about a hit record also is like it's subjective, right? Like there's some hits that's just viral online, and don't think that they don't mean nothing, right? Because a hit is measured in a lot of ways. But we usually measure it by Billboard. Like, oh, if Billboard says this, then it must be true, right? But like these kids have found different ways and avenues. We grew up on the Yo MTV Raps and Rap City and Yo MTV Raps, Rap City. What else? We had Sway. We had Sway. Not that. What was the shit that they had, man? Rap Fix Live. You know what I mean? Rap. The only way you could be seen was through magazines and all that. Now you got On the Radar. You got Azay with his thing that he does. You know what I mean? Block performance. You got all of these hanging mic performances. You got back of the class performance. You got all of these different avenues and ways that you could push your content, and that content could lead to a stream. So you got to ask yourself, what is it worth, right? Like I think that if you have the mindset to say, listen, I do want to have a certain type of partner. I want people to, you know what I mean? I want to just worry about being an artist. I want to sit in the studio. I want to have access to a good studio, certain types of levels of producers, and I just want to create, and I want somebody else to do all of that, then fine, go with that. But as far as like charging, letting somebody keep 15% of your bread, you know what I'm saying? Even 20%, you gotta think, like, you make $100,000, right? That's kind of crazy. You make $100,000, somebody gets 20% off of your money, and all they did was distribute it. It's not like before when they had to put you in the stores and all of that. And I also think that the whole playlist shit is flawed too. People are not going to a playlist to tell them what's the best music out no more. Again, it's direct to consumer. So if you understand yourself, you could do that shit. You know what I mean? I think that, like, you know, for Rocnation, I understand the gesture, but like, this just ain't the right time. This is how I do it myself though. For the ones that rock with me, you know how we doing. For the ones that don't, eventually will. I will catch y'all tomorrow. Peace.